Welcome back to another episode of Black Girls Texting. It's your girl, Sade. Hey, bitches.
It's your girl, Charles Pinky.
I didn't know we were singing and I'm not prepared. It's Glenn. Oh, I kind of sang.
That was melodic.
I'm so excited to be sitting with Ginille. I've been following you for a while on Instagram and looking at your videos regarding filler and Botox, and I've always been curious, but also a little weary and nervous about that, especially being a woman of color, especially being fairly young. I'm only 30. So do you have like a lot of clients that are, you know, my age, women of color?
Okay, yeah. So I'm Janelle. I'm a cosmetic nurse practitioner. I've been injecting Botox fillers since 2013, so over 10 years now.
Wow.
And most of my patients are Black and brown women in their 20s to their 50s, but I get people above that and then lower than that. But that's like the big chunk of it. A lot of patients are in their like 30s. They kind of look like us, and like they don't need anything. They're already freaking like, you're beautiful. You don't need any of it. But they're just doing something for themselves to just have like a little refresh, something they can notice and feel like more confident about. But I tell them all the time, I'm like, nobody's looking at you and seeing this little imperfection that you are concerned with.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a good point. Like, you don't need anything. And like, I wonder, like some of my friends who are getting it, I'm like, but you're so young. Is it? But then I've heard it's also like preventative. What do you think is the good part of starting this, especially when you don't quite need it yet? Like you don't have any set lines or anything.
So it does help prevent if you start your Botox early. So people like doing, very commonly, they'll use Botox in their frown lines, forehead lines, around the eyes. Those are like a few cosmetic places that are pretty common that people will start noticing little faint lines, usually in their early 30s, late 20s, starting to see them getting like lightly etched on the skin, where even if they are not making facial expressions, they like see them starting to like be there.
Yeah.
A lot of patients will tell me, oh, when I do my makeup, it kind of creases in this spot. Again, nobody's looking at your face that deep and thinking you have these little lines, but the patients are seeing just these early signs of aging.
Yeah.
So when we use Botox to help relax the muscles from creating these like strong facial movements, Botox will prevent the lines from ever getting etched in if you're not making the facial movements at all or as forcefully. And I tell patients with Botox, it's really, all of this stuff is super personalized to the patient. It's not like a one size fits all. I tell people, even if you come in with a twin sister, you guys could have completely different treatment plans. It really depends on the patient, their goals, how they naturally present. Some people want to keep some of their lines. Some people are not bothered by lines around their eyes. Some people say, I want to be frozen and have no movement. Other people say, I need to have frown movement so I can frown at my husband or my students or for work, for acting. So it's really personalized to like what the patient wants.
And how often, like if you started, is it like once you start, you kind of are locked in, you have to commit to doing these things every 3 months?
You don't have to do it. Like all of it, I tell people, like once you start, like if you're like, I hate this, it's going to wear off. You don't have to ever do it again. But once you start, like people love it and they just keep doing it because they're like, oh, I look like myself. Oh, I can still move my face. Oh, nobody knew. But like I was getting comments like, I got carded when I went out. Oh, somebody, like little things like that. Did I change my hair? Did I change my makeup? Oh, my makeup, those lines were gone. It's those things that the patient notices and feels more confident about. That's why they'll keep it up. So it's just like this way they look and feel fresh and they want to maintain it. A lot of times if people start later in life, they will tell me they wish they had started earlier because if lines are already like etched on the face, it's hard to get them away because they've just, they've been frowning for so long. Like they might have deep lines. They're not going to be gone like when you were 20. We can soften them some. We can prevent them from getting worse. But, the early prevention does help.
Okay. And so for Botox, how often do people come in for Botox?
Most people will do it like 3 to 4 times a year. But it really, again, just like depends on that
The
patient.
person.
Some
Yeah.
people say this is like their thing for the holidays and their birthday, like a special occasion.
Hmm. Okay. And then for filler, I heard if you fill, it kind of stretches the area, so you got to keep filling it.
I don't know about stretching the area. So filler, I'll kind of like give a quick dive into what it is. This is where we're using different types of gels. Hyaluronic acid is the most common one we have in the United States. There's several different types of hyaluronic acid fillers. We have other ones that are not just hyaluronic acid, but hyaluronic acid is a sugar molecule. It's in our bodies. It binds water. We can use it in different parts of the face to like volumize, plump, hydrate, like lift an area. Not going to be like a facelift, but it can give this illusion of a lift. And we have different ones. So very commonly people will do like under eyes if they feel like they look tired or like sunken, hollow under their eyes. They'll do it into their cheeks. Usually like late 20s, early 30s, people start noticing like their cheeks start to like not look as full as they were used to. Lips is a common one, but you can really go everywhere on the face. You can go chin, jawline. You can do your nose to like straighten a bump. Temples when we lose volume here. So there's a lot of places we can use it. And it's not that it like stretches out your skin if you're not like overdoing this. So I tell people all this stuff. There's definitely artistry with it, and you want to do it to where it looks like this is like my take on it. It's like I want it to look like you. I want it to look fresh. Um, you're gonna hear those comments like I mentioned earlier, but it's not gonna be who's your Botox girl. I need to see her.
Yeah.
Because it's this thing where nobody would know if we do it the right way when we're not having it overdone. Nobody's gonna know you've done anything. Again, you just show up, you look fresh, you look like yourself, like, and then also people just have this different confidence about themselves. I see it from like appointment 1 to 2 to 3. It's like a little flare they have, but it's not going to stretch out your skin where now your cheeks are sagging if you don't do it. I mean,
Okay.
you'll continue to age, but it's not like your face is falling after. So for me, I've done a ton of stuff to my face. Right now, I have a 6-month-old baby, almost 7 months. And so I haven't done anything in, however long, 10 months plus 7 months, a year and a half. And it's not like my face is falling. There's places where I can see like, oh, a little shadow. It's not as lifted. I see little spots. Like nobody's noticing this on me. I know it just from because I do this. But I can see where it's like not as like filled when I do my filler, but it doesn't look crazy. And I haven't done anything in a year and a half because I'm breastfeeding and all of that. So
Right.
it's gonna look like you. It's gonna, if you're not rushing it. So I tell patients like everybody I see before they come in, we do virtual consults and we just go through goals and questions and like tips on what to expect, how to prep for treatments. I say all of this stuff, we do it in stages. Like again, I want it to look like you, fresh, not overdone. So we do some, you'll be able to see a difference. We let it settle and then we can like fine tune and add more over time. I just don't want to like expect that, oh my gosh, you come to one appointment and your whole face is lifted and you are like this completely different. It's not like that.
Right.
So if we want it to fly under the radar and look fresh, like we do it in stages and we build it up.
Yeah.
Like I said again, gradual.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, I have one last question before I think we're gonna do like my consultation.
Okay.
The last question is cost, because I feel like right now things are getting expensive. Like, what is the affordability of fillers and Botox and injectables?
So cost is really going to depend on what you're treating, where, why, what we're trying to accomplish. A syringe or filler, depending on where you go, it's going to be different prices. So I'm in Los Angeles. I charge $950 per syringe. Now, the number of syringes, again, varies on the person and what we're doing. Just to give you a quick idea, lips are commonly like a half to a full syringe in one setting. If they want to go bigger, we'll do another half to a full over time, like in another appointment.
Okay.
Cheeks, again, depending on the patient, usually people are doing anywhere from like 2 to 3. Jawline, chin, it can depends on the patient, but like anywhere 4 to 6, what we're trying, depending on there. Um, so it can be, you're going to be paying in the thousands most of the time. I would say when people are doing multiple, when I have girls come in and they're like, look, I want to treat multiple areas of my face, which I think is important. Not saying you have to do a ton of stuff to your face, but it can look off if people only treat one part of their face. If they only do their lips, it can be like really telling that they've done the lips, because it's like hydrated and plump, and then everything else like doesn't fit surrounding the surrounding areas don't match. It can look like you've done something. So I'm like, to look like
Okay.
you haven't done anything, sometimes you got to touch multiple parts of the face. I would say on
Interesting.
general, those patients are paying like 3,500 to 5,500 to do like a lot of parts of their face. And it looks like themselves. It looks fresh. So, and it could be done over sessions.
Okay. I did see online though that you guys now have like a payment plan. Did I look that up?
So we
Okay.
offer financing, and so patients have really liked that. We launched it around the holidays, and it was just nice. And people told me, they're like, "This makes it so that I can't afford this. I can do something for myself, especially with the holiday time." Um, there's different payment plans on there, and a lot of patients were like choosing one where there's no interest for 3 months, and it like breaks down their payments into things that like are bite sized, which is nice.
Cool. I mean, I'm excited. My friends do Botox, filler, all of it, and they love it. Um, I will say I'm from New York City, but now live in Los Angeles. And Los Angeles has a different vibe as it relates to beauty, right? A lot of women kind of have the same face. And I don't want to be in that category, but I think the refreshing and all of the things that you spoke about, like looking like yourself, but just like a little brighter and like, you know, plumper is like, sounds nice to me. So
Yeah.
I'm excited.
A ton of women. I see patients from all over the world, like every day. Every day I'm in clinic, somebody's flying in. I have a lot of patients from New York, a lot of
Okay.
patients from Houston. Those are like the big US areas that I'll see. DC as well, Atlanta, but like New York, I get patients like monthly. So, and it, and they'll tell me, because I mean, they will come, they'll make their appointment for this, and then they go home. And I'm like, girl, can't you find someone? But they're like, it's different, like seeing a woman of color, somebody who does it. I
Mm-hmm.
really try to like show my patients and show diverse age range, ethnic background range. I show boys, girls. I try to show just everyone where people can see
Yeah.
it's like, oh, it's normal, regular people. It doesn't have to be this celebrity or this Instagram like baddie. It's just everybody. I mean,
Yeah.
I have all of those patients, but it's just I have the school teacher, I have the church like deacon, like I have everyone, which is really cool. And they're just like, yeah, it's not overdone, it's not underdone to where it's so little that they can't see a difference, but it's not
Right.
overdone where it's like super telling. But they're just like, I look like me, this is something I was bothered about, that I saw, and yeah, they feel more confident. They're sending me all their selfies and stuff. So
Oh, I love
yeah.
it. Okay, so let's jump into the consultation.
Okay.
How does that work?
Yeah.
I'll let you lead that.
So when I do the virtual consults, I tell patients like it's just time to go through their questions, their goals, whatever. Like, and I'll give you tips on like how to prep for treatments, what to expect when you come in. So it's just time for us to like touch base where there's just whatever you need, we can go through. You can talk to me about anything that you're noticing on your face, like changes that may or may not bother you. So if you're like, I really like this about myself, perfect. It's like a good note for me. If you're like, I'm seeing, a lot of times people say, I see this change or I'm not used to this. Just tell me. Even sometimes they don't know how to exactly explain what's different, that they're like, something is different, I don't know what, but I woke up and I don't feel like I'm looking like myself.
Yeah.
We'll talk through it. Sometimes I say, if you don't know and you can't explain it, can't put your finger on it, show me a picture of you where you feel the most beautiful. This could be from a few years ago, this could be recent, this could be even sometimes girls are like, I don't take a lot of photos of myself, but they'll have filtered photos.
Mm.
It just helps me to like understand your aesthetic, and I can kind of look at like where you are present versus the photo, and it'll give me a good idea like of what's changing. And then I just let you know stuff that if I talk to you, if I say anything, as a recommendation, it's one, this is just one perspective. I'm not like the beholder of beauty. So like, if it doesn't resonate with you, like you can tell me to shut up, you can ignore it. Like it's never anything to ever be rude. I'm really thinking about what's happening, not just at the surface that we can see here, but beneath the skin and like what's happening with the aging process. So that's where I'm coming from, as you know, if I say, hey, this is what it is. And this is as much of a consult I can do virtually. In person, I can really like do a full assessment, but here we can get a good idea of what's going on and can tell you about like what to expect and stuff.
Cool. Well, I know you asked me like what my concerns were. So I did do a consult like years ago when I was living in Manhattan, and I went to a medical spa, and she was like, "You're very beautiful, but your chin is really small." And I was like, "Okay, I never thought about my chin, but now in pictures I look at my chin." So is there she called it a science to beauty. Like
Mhm.
it should be like equal parts.
Okay. I don't really go 100% by like ratios and numbers. Being in this industry for like the 10 years, I'll say I feel like sometimes the ratios are like not, they're like geared more towards not like super ethnic faces. So that's one thing that I'm like, eh. The other thing is, like, I do think some of these things can help make the face look balanced, but I really like sometimes like what's different about our face makes us look unique, and like that's a beautiful thing. So I'm not always trying to be like, yes, like every person needs chin. Now I love chin filler, and I do think it's like one of my favorite things I've done to my face. It's one of my things I'm like ready to do as I'm waiting to finish breastfeeding. But it's it's so individualized, and I again, it's not like by ratios and measurements. I just don't think we can like prescribe to that because our faces are different. Like I don't think we're gonna have the same, even as Black girls, like we're gonna have different ratios on our face. And I'm with you, like I don't want everybody to look the same.
Yeah.
So that's what I'll tell people when it comes to like, I'm not measuring stuff on the face. I see some people do that, and I'm like, okay, maybe it works. But again, like I see such a diverse range of people that it's like not everybody is going to fit that. And sometimes, having a smaller chin works for that person. I see some of like the most beautiful actresses, and I'm like, oh, your chin is short, but like, dang, you were also one of the most beautiful people I've seen. So it's personalized.
Yeah. So I was thinking about that because
Mhm.
she probably put it in my head. So now I'm always looking at my chin. Um, and I was thinking about volume here, just like a little bit. And now I'm starting to get it's very light, but like a little bit of a line here.
When you raise your eyebrows.
Yeah.
Okay.
And those were my big ones. I was also reading about, and I don't know if filler or Botox can fix it or if this is something you're seeing like in the beauty world, but tech neck.
Uh-huh.
So like the lines on your neck.
Mm-hmm. The horizontal ones or the vertical ones?
Yeah, the horizontal ones.
Okay.
From like, I guess always being like this.
Looking downwards, yeah. Okay, we'll talk through everything. Let's start with Botox just because that one's easy and we already talked a little bit about it. So Botox, gonna relax the muscles. Let me see when you raise your eyebrows high and then frown. Okay. So dosing is going to depend on each patient, how strong the muscles are, how big the area is. Um, your goal, like it's up to you. Some people will say, I don't want to frown at all. Other people will tell me they want to just like slightly frown. Other people say they want to move their face but not have lines. So all that helps me determine like the dose we start with. When we do Botox, so we'll talk about, I'll look at you and figure out your dosing. If somebody with a big forehead is going to use more units than somebody that's a smaller forehead.
Oh.
Somebody has a lot of lines and they want to really flatten them out, they're going to use more units. So when we do it, it looks like little bumps for a few minutes. Those go down 15, 20 minutes, and then you won't see any effect. It takes a few days to like start kicking in, and then 2 weeks is the full effect. After that, I just ask for your feedback. Like my team, we check in, how is it looking? And then you let me know. So sometimes people, their first time, they're nervous, they want to do light, so they can see what it feels like, if they like it. And then at that 2 week point, if there's still lines or if they want to make it, stronger, like really get rid of lines, we can always add more at that point or just their next round. So for you, you're saying like they're not super deep. I would probably say we go like a lighter dose unless there's something, if you're like, no, I want to be really, really restricted, then we can adjust from there. Their first time, if you don't know, I say start like light, medium, so you can see a difference. And then we can gauge after that to go up or down from wherever we begin, or keep it the same. And you're just going to want to see how long it lasts. Most people will get a few months out of it. If we dose on the really light side, it wears off quicker. So some people, like I said, acting and they say, I still need to have these lines. They just need to be softer. I see them a little bit more frequently just because it wears off. It just wears off quicker.
Okay.
So that's easy there. And then big things Botox wise, just like tips. We just want to make sure that big things for like the forehead. I don't see this on you. Sometimes people have like lines that are really close to their eyebrows. I'll tell people we want to make sure that I want to give you movement of your face if you want it, like to be able to move your brows up and down. Sometimes if people have like a line right here, I'm like, if I get rid of every single line, we have to be careful, or because it could flatten your brow or make it like too strong. So those are things that I'm thinking about when I'm injecting. And it's this thing where we can always add more if we need, but trying to be mindful to like minimize any risk.
Mm-hmm. To be like the Girlfriends episode where Tony's like,
yeah,
I don't know if you saw that
exactly. Yes, it did like that. So that's Botox. It's quick. It's easy.
Does it hurt?
It's like pokes. It's not bad. We give you ice. But it's like a really quick thing to do. Like the injections take 2 minutes to 5 minutes to like get through. It's nothing long lasting. And then afterwards they say it's fine.
Okay.
Sometimes as it's kicking in, people will get a little bit of a headache. I think as the muscles are like not able to do their full function, but that's pretty. And then it just slowly, as it wears off, you'll notice, oh, I can like frowning. Oh, the lines are coming back. And then you can decide if you want to do that again or not.
Okay.